I'm Luke Catford. I'm joined by Tim Spears, our Wolves correspondent here at the Express Star. Tim, Sporting Lisbon wanted 50 million for Rui Patricio, but like any good card boot, they've talked them down. Wolves had 16 million, all sorted now, right?
Yeah, nice. They did want 15. Well, they said they wanted 50 million. I mean, I'm not sure. Like any kind of Del Boy, wheeler and dealer, they've aimed high, probably hoping to get about 20 million or so, but they've come to an agreement with 16. And I think both parties may be happy with that. I mean, technically, he joined Wolves on a free transfer, all sorts of issues and complications about whether he should have been allowed to go on a free or not, whether he was allowed to renege on his contract. So Sporting, I'm sure, would have feared, not getting a penny for him. So, and from Wolves' point of view, they probably knew all along they'd have to pay a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And in today's market, and I think we've seen a few times this season, Patricio compared favourably to some of the most expensive keepers in the league. You look at Alisson costing Liverpool 70 million, and then you look at Patricio, who's barely put a foot wrong, you've got to say, and 16 million is a bargain. So Wolves have done well out of it as well. So I think most of all, everybody will be glad that it's over, because it was a saga. I mean, it was a transfer saga, and it got ugly in the summer when Sporting really went for it with that long document, which took me a few hours to read, full of some crazy inflammatory statements. It just seemed like a bit of a balmy club. Not that you'd ever get Wolves saying that, but I can't see Wolves buying any players from Sporting anytime soon, judging by the way that they've behaved. So glad that it's over, yeah, because it dragged on a while. Can't have been great for Patricio to have that hanging over his head either. So all done and dusted, and like I said, both clubs should be pretty happy.
Yeah, and it certainly is a steal. I mean, they still paid a fair bit of money. I mean, in terms of goalkeepers, have spent a lot of money, and you were saying they're one of the most expensive goalkeepers that we've seen in the Premier League and seen around the world, really.
Yeah, I was looking at the list last night, and if this transfer would have taken place 6 months ago, Patricio would now be the 8th most expensive goalkeeper of all time. There were 4 deals in the summer which have overtaken that, all involving English clubs. Courtois, Kepa, the Chelsea keeper, and whoever Arsenal signed, whose name escapes me, the German guy, as well as Alisson. So they're all more expensive, but it's still the 12th most expensive transfer involving a goalkeeper in football history. And you look at the list of those keepers, and it's all big Champions League clubs that are all involved, and big names, Toldo and Buffon going back in the day. So it shows you, for a goalkeeper, wrong side of 30 as well, by the way. But Wolves will say that in theory this guy's got at least 5 years left in him, at least at the top level. Like I said, he's been flawless for Wolves so far. Kicking was a bit dodgy to begin with, but he's improved that. I think he's settled in very quickly. He's made some world-class saves, and has been a key part of Wolves keeping a fair number of clean sheets so far this season. And that he's settled into that defence very well, because the front 3 ahead of him have stayed the same as last year. That's Bennett, Cody and Bolly. And he's come in, and there could be a bit of disruption there, but settled in no problem, and looks like being a great addition. It also, I should say, takes Wolves' summer spending, so to speak, to 81 million.
Wow.
Which is incredible, really. That includes the Dendoncker fee, which Wolves are obliged to pay, although they're not paying until next summer. It doesn't include the Afobe money that they shelled out as soon as they sent him straight on. But still, it shows you the amount of investment that's gone into this team, and we're seeing Wolves slide down the table a little bit in the past couple of weeks, and they need to get their act together, because if you spend that kind of money, then you expect mid-table, I think. It's a bit of a debate as to about what Wolves' expectations should be. A newly promoted team, should they just be looking to stay up? Should they be aiming for Europe? Should they be aiming for mid-table? I think when you look at the amount of money they have spent, aligned with the quality they've already got, then where they're at right now is where they should be aiming for, 10th place minimum, I think.
Yeah, so Patricio done and dusted. Could be a busy man with the upcoming schedule too. For the latest on him and Wolves, make sure you stay with us, expressionstar.com.